I now humbly hand over the microphone to the Permanent Secretary, ITYAVYAR.
We are here to assess in detail the arrangements, the existing facilities at the Polytechnic Wanene, and that is why you have a large delegation from the National Board for Technical Education with us to carry out this physical inspection. The College of Education was built to commence in October last year, but because of all the challenges we had with COVID and so on, we are now just about ready to start. The temporary facilities for commencement are almost ready, and as soon as the gentlemen I just mentioned assume office, they'll be directed to work very closely with your government to see how we can fast-track the process of commencement of academic activities for the World Bank partnership we have at the Federal Ministry of Education. Benue is one of 6 states that are benefiting from that program. We call it the ITYAVYAR program. It is a skills development program that will enable us to train our young men and women who, many of them currently are roaming the streets or are unemployed, to acquire the relevant skills they will need to employ themselves as well as create jobs. We are particular that in a state like Benue, all the entire agricultural value chains require this level of workforce to help us in things like improving our agricultural practices, agricultural extension, value addition, processing, packaging, and so on and so forth. Use of tractors, use of mechanization, planting, weeding, threshing, and so on. That people will be trained in these areas and they'll be able to find a job for themselves. Benue has also taken a lead in terms of providing the workforce in our construction industries. So we also want to be able to enforce that. The practice of importing workmen from various parts of Africa, including Togo, Ghana, Republic of Benin, to do POP work, plumbing, masonry, and all the other things that we have our able-bodied men being able to do should be a thing of the past by the time we emphasize or we implement this skills program. Again, the additional information on that is that first, the World Bank wrote to us by Friday that project became effective and the funds are now available. That we have written to the World Bank for additional support under that program to facilitate the establishment of 3 skills development centers in the state. And why we did this was because we realized that in addition to the normal design of the program, that will focus on our technical schools and also on the private sector-led efforts. We have a number of facilities in the state currently not being used. One of them is the proposed site for the Federal Polytechnic in Adipo. We believe that a lot have been put into that site. The team that went on inspection did make that report. And we felt that rather than just leave it lying fallow and waiting for whenever approval will be granted for that institution, we should start using it as a skills development center with the right equipment, funding, to begin to put that to use. A second,
whatever federal institution or program that the federal government initiates for a state like we have here is for the benefit of the people in the state. So it's value addition. So within a short time, we have Federal University of Health Science, we have College of Education, we also have Polytechnic, Federal Polytechnic. I think it has never been good like this before. And now with the additional attachment of Skills Acquisition Center in Adipo, and then the additional 3 skills development centers. And I heard you mention Adipo, also mentioned Makurdi. Yes, we're willing to partner with that. The central bank established it, but somehow they abandoned it. But since we gave them, we took over, but we're willing to give back to the federal government to establish that. And there is enough land to do expansion and all that, but this Skills Development Center is already in place and right there in Ijumale in Ado local government. So that is Zone C. So we are willing to also surrender that one for that kind of problem. The structures are there. If you require to do some little modification to fit with that way, go for it. But we deeply appreciate Mr. President and the Federal Minister of Education for this great support to Benue State.
As always, information is power. Like when he spoke about the talented academy, we don't have so much information. So perhaps the Federal Ministry of Education will regularly send a circular around ministries across the nation. In that case, we are able to disseminate it to our schools so that they can also participate. And I think the permanent secretary's information is very important because from now we'll take off and we'll ensure that the citizens of Benue and especially the students have information about the scholarships available and other opportunities for people in Benue State.
Thank you very much.
Nobody should come by my side.
What is